Jealousy is a poison that you mix for your enemy, but are often forced to drink yourself. It starts as a quiet seed in the dark corners of your heart, watered by whispers and comparison, until it grows into a thorny vine that chokes everything good inside you. This is a story about two sisters. One blessed with a beauty that charmed the sun, the other cursed to live in her shadow. This is a story about a choice made in a moment of pure hatred, and a consequence that lasted a lifetime. Pay close attention. Because after you hear this, you will understand that getting what you want can be a far worse punishment than never having it at all. My story begins not with the jealousy, but with the act itself. It begins with me, Adama, standing alone by the river of whispers, my heart a cold, silent stone in my chest. The only sound was the lazy gurgle of the water and the splash my sister, Femi, had made just moments before. I watched the ripple spread and vanish, just as I intended for her to vanish. Femi was my younger sister. But she was the sun and I was her shadow. Her laughter was the melody the village danced to. Her skin was the color of rich, dark honey, and her smile could coax secrets from the stubbornest elders. Men fell over themselves to win her favor, but her heart belonged to Akin, the handsome son of the village chief. And my heart also belonged to Akin. He never saw me. When he looked at me, his eyes would pass right through, searching for the brilliant light of my sister. I existed only as Femi's sister. A plain, quiet afterthought. The bitterness festered for years. I watched her be loved, be praised, be seen, while I became more and more invisible. The breaking point was their betrothal announcement. The joy in the village was a physical pain, a hot knife twisting in my gut. That's when the plan took root. I told Femi I had discovered a rare silver leaf orchid that bloomed only at dusk, deep in the forest near the river of whispers. Her love for beautiful things was her weakness. Please, Adama, show me, she'd begged, her eyes wide with excitement. I led her down the winding path. The air grew cooler, the trees thicker. The river, they say, is an ancient place. A place that listens. A place that remembers. When we reached the muddy bank, I pointed to a cluster of ordinary ferns. As she leaned in, her back to me, her beautiful, trusting back. I didn't hesitate. I shoved her with all the force of my years of resentment. There was a short, sharp cry of surprise. A loud splash. And then, a horrifying silence. I didn't wait to see if she would surface. I turned and walked away, leaving the river of whispers to keep my terrible secret. I returned to our family hut, my heart finally light. The shadow was gone. The obstacle was removed. I was free. I splashed some water from a clay basin onto my face to wash away the forest grime. As I looked down, I saw my reflection in the trembling water. And I screamed. Looking back at me was not my own plain face. It was Femi's. Her perfect, heart-shaped face, her wide, luminous eyes. It was her. I stumbled back, knocking the basin over. I scrambled to a small, polished mirror we kept on the wall. The same face stared back. Femi's face. My face. Panic gave way to a slow, creeping realization. The river, it hadn't just taken her. It had answered the deepest, unspoken prayer of my jealous heart. It had made me her. The next morning, I walked into the village. It was a test. My mother saw me and smiled. "Femi, my beautiful girl, did you sleep well?" Akin saw me and his face lit up with a love that was once a dagger in my heart, but was now my prize. "My love," he said, taking my hand. I was living her life. I had her face, her name, her love. Adama, the quiet shadow, was gone. They said she must have run away, perhaps out of shame or jealousy over the betrother. They pitied her for a few days, then forgot. I was the center of the world. I had won. The horror began a week later. It was subtle at first. I'd be looking in the mirror, admiring my stolen beauty, and for a split second, Femi's smiling reflection would twist into a silent, screaming mask of agony. It was gone before I could even register it. Then, I started hearing whispers whenever I was near water, a basin, a puddle after the rain. A faint, gargling voice. Adama. One night, I woke up, choking. The air in my room was freezing cold, thick with the smell of river mud. I felt a wetness on my cheek. I lit my lantern, and on the polished surface of my mirror, a single, wet handprint was slowly sliding down the glass. I began to understand that Femi wasn't gone. She was just somewhere else. And she was watching. The reflections became my prison. Every shiny surface was a potential torment. I saw her face, contorted in sorrow, staring back at me from a polished spoon, from a cup of water, from Akin's unloving eyes. The whispers were constant now, a wet, gurgling sound at the edge of my hearing. My victory felt like a mouthful of ash. I couldn't live like this. I ran back to the river of whispers, my stolen face twisted in a mask of rage and fear. "What do you want from me?" I screamed at the placid water. "Leave me alone." The water began to bubble. The surface churned, and from the murky depths, a form began to rise. It was Femi. But it wasn't her. Her body was woven from water and moonlight, her hair of trailing river weed, her eyes two hollows of deep, sorrowful darkness. She wasn't a vengeful spirit. She was a cage. "You did this, sister," her voice echoed, not through the air, but directly inside my head. It sounded like drowning. The river heard your heart's desire. You didn't want me dead. You wanted to be me. You wanted my face, my life. The old magic is one of balance. A face for a face. A life for a life. I'll give it back. I shrieked. Take it back. Let me be myself again. The watery form of my sister gave a sad, gurgling laugh. "The vow is made. You have my face. You have my love." But the river needed a new reflection to hold in its depths. "You gave it mine. I am the river now, and the river is me. I am bound to this water forever. So you will haunt me." I cried. "No, Adama," the voice whispered, And this was the moment the true horror settled into my bones. I will not haunt you. The river's price is far more clever than that. You have my beauty, but you must also take my burdens. You will marry a king, you will care for our mother in her old age. You will live my entire life, every single day, knowing you are a fraud. That is your prison. And there is one final price, she hissed, as her form dissolved back into the water. Asterisk, if you ever try to tell anyone the truth, if the words, I am Adama, ever leave your lips, your pretty new face will melt from your bones like wax, and everyone will see the ugly monster you truly are. And so I lived. I married a king. I had children who had my sister's eyes. I cared for my mother, who died believing her plain, quiet daughter had abandoned her. I have lived a full life, surrounded by a love that was never meant for me. I am an old woman now. I have not spoken my own name, Adama, in over 60 years. I avoid mirrors. I never go near the river. My children and grandchildren praise my beauty, even in my old age. But every single night, when I close my eyes, I see her. Not the watery spirit, but my beautiful, vibrant sister, Femi, on the day I led her to the river. And I hear her trusting voice, full of love for a sister who was about to erase her from the world. My life has been a gilded cage. I got everything I ever wanted. And it has been a punishment more perfect and more terrible than any hell I could have imagined. This is a story about a choice and a consequence. But I leave the final judgment to you. Who do you think was the real victim here? Was it Femi, who lost her life and became a spirit of the river? Or was it Adama, who got everything she ever dreamed of, only to be trapped in a living nightmare for the rest of her days? What do you think? Give your opinion in the comments below. I want to know who you think truly paid the higher price.